Contra, the smash hit Konami video game from the late 80s, shaped a whole generation of young people. To this day, it's held up in high regards as the perfect side-scrolling shooter, and no other video game has come as close as perfecting it. James Rolfe, aka the Angry Video Game Nerd, has summed this up many times in his own personal reviews. Contra not only perfected the aiming aspect of the game, but also the shooting. No game of its type has ever surpassed the classic Contra and never will. And with the new, and I do use the word loosely, new Contra game on its way, set to be released on the PlayStation 4, Xbox One and Nintendo Switch coming this September, there is a major backlash of the story and the change of gameplay. And this is well before the game has already been released. For all we know, the game might be amazing. But in a month or so, I guess we'll find out. Here, we're forgetting all that. We're here to talk about the classic Contra trilogy. That's right, Contra, Super C, and Contra 3 Alien Wars. It was the late 80s. Nintendo was changing the landscape of gaming as we knew it. Being a young lad at the age of 5, I was already a fan of such films as Predator, Commando, and Rambo. My dad, who travelled a lot for work, brought home this strange new console called the Famicom. Along with it, many games, one of them being the very bizarre and fun as hell Star Wars game. Yes, you know the one, where Darth Vader turns into a scorpion. Along with these games was one simply called Contra. Now, in the UK and Australia, many people wouldn't know it as Contra, because we didn't get Contra, we got Pro Protector. And the weird part was, when people at school were talking about Pro Protector, I was confused. I had Contra, I had Super C on my Famicom. And the fact that I was 5 years old, I just called that shit Rambo. And you know what? I wasn't far off. Seeing the artwork itself, clearly Lance Bean and Bill Reiser, the two stars of the game, are without doubt heavily based on John Rambo and Predator's Dutch, played by Arnold Schwarzenegger. Contra pushed the boundaries of action, becoming known for its difficulty. Hell, the Contra code was famous for this. But I can say with all pride in the world, I had never ever heard of the Contra code until I was grown up. And yes, I am one of those that say, I beat Contra without the code. I mean, hell, this was the challenge to beat the game itself, with little lives and to brag about it. There are two types of people in this world. People who beat Contra and those who cheated Contra. I'm proud to say I beat Contra. Playing this game alongside my dad was one of my most fondest memories as a kid. Each time getting further and further into the game, then dying, and then being pushed to go one step further again. And what would suck is every time you died and ran out of continues, you're like, shit, you're gonna have to start this all over again. But you know what? The moment you pushed that start button and heard that kick-ass Contra theme kick in, and all I can say is, hell yeah. That Contra theme still gives me chills. And hell, with these video game movies today, why didn't Stallone and Schwarzenegger ever do a Contra movie in the early 90s? As a kid, that would have lost my goddamn mind to see that happen. For those who never played Contra, it's simple. It's a 1-2 player video game where you battle through war zones, such as the jungle, the waterfall area, enemy bases, the snow stage, a factory level, and of course the famous alien base. Along the way, you would pick up handy weapons which you could use to aid you in your victories. One hit and you would lose them. Yes, Contra is one of those games. One hit and you're dead. And no saving here, kiddies. This is a true man's game. And you would need all the pickups you could get. Machine guns, the laser, that weird flame fire strange ass gun. But of course, everyone who played Contra knew there was only one true damn gun to get. That's right, the spread. When you got this gun, you wouldn't want to dare even think about dying. This gun was your life. And if both players had the same spread gun on the screen at the same time, it was a pure goddamn war zone. Each level had its uniqueness to it. And with each stage, it would have the most absolutely bitching music to accompany it. I mean shit, they do not make soundtracks like this anymore. I know it's the 8-bit era, but come on, give me some of these tunes again like Contra. But like Contra, games like this don't exist anymore. You have games like Fortnite, Grand Theft Auto, Halo, and sure, they're all great games in their own right. But something as simple and easy as Contra can never be captured again. Hell, I've even seen many so-called gamers who are the masterclass of all video games, and yet when they have a go at Contra, they fail dismally. Because Contra is a game truly made for its era. No saves, little to no lives, no checkpoints, Hard as hell, balls to the wall madness, and that's why we loved it. So in closing, Contra is truly a game that shaped me as a gamer. It was like a stepping stone from childhood to teenagehood. In some ways, it was like a passage to conquer on the way to becoming a true man. Sure, that may sound insane, and even a little over the top, but many who grew up with the era of Contra, only these people would understand. It's been remastered for mobile games, it's had its sequels, it's had soft reboots, but only one true Contra. Contra to me is the perfect video game of its era. It's a 10 out of 10. It's simple to play, but hard as hell to finish. And you know what, if you think you're up for the challenge and you've never played it, have a go. See if you can conquer Contra. Thank you for listening, people. Next time we'll be jumping into its sequels, and of course we'll be starting with Super C. Thank you for listening, people. I hope you enjoyed this trip down memory lane, and once again, if you've not played Contra, what the hell are you listening to me for? Go now.